Hi guys, if you like this video, please smash that like button. Click subscribe because that really helps us bring you more videos. And don't forget to click the bell and you'll get notified of our latest videos, or otherwise you might miss them. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you.
Welcome back to the Mission RV Services channel. On today's episode, we are going to be changing a bulb seal. So this is on our own rig, and we were doing our our monthly visual inspection, but part of that visual inspection is you kind of touchy-feely inspection too. So if I just ran my hand up and down this and checked our seals, don't mind that shiny stuff because that is overspray from the manufacturer. But what I did find was, as I was pushing on this, it didn't feel quite right. Bottom felt fine, but as I pushed up here, I realized that this whole seal is split about halfway up and then stops there. Not really sure why, but the other ones are fine. But because we do, we do put our treatments on the seals. We use dry lubricant with PFTE, which is Teflon, just to treat the seals every few months. But yeah, this one's bad. So we're gonna swap that out today. That seal is a 1-inch flavor. That's what this is right here. So it's a 1-inch bulb seal, but the track that is attached to that wiper is actually a 15/16. So what you're gonna get if you have to replace yours is measure the width of the seal, but generally most of them are gonna be 1-inch with a 15/16 track. And a few things you're going to need. Obviously, you're going to need the new seal. You're going to need most cases, a number 2 screw head or a number 2 Phillips. And that is because generally, I haven't looked yet, but there is a screw at the bottom and a screw at the top, especially on vertical bulb seals. So we're going to be getting that out of there. You may need a pick. Now, the reason you need the pick is when they put those screws in to hold that seal in place, they'll fill it with RTV black sealant or some kind of a sealant, whatever the choice was the day of the manufacturer. But you may have to pick out some of that sealant out of the screw head so you can get it out of there without too much trouble. And you're going to need something sharp to cut your seal to length. So you may see this beautiful table. It's not just for demonstration purposes. We are going to pull that seal down and then we'll lay it out on the table and we'll match the size of the old seal to the new one to help along. You can also take a tape measure. You could get up there old school fashion and measure that down. If the seal's not super old, it's just damaged. If you have a seal that's broken up, then I would, do a seal to seal measurement and then actually use the tape measure top to bottom that way. Because if you have a damaged seal, you want to make sure that you're getting the right length. And if it's a damaged old seal that could have shrunk, then you might not be in a good spot. If you measure that, you're going to measure it too short. Very rarely will you ever get one that's too long. Generally, they shrink over time. But this one's only a few years old, and like I said, it's just got some damage on it from something. We're not quite sure. Could have been just a manufacturer's defect. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to take you along. We're going to start by taking our little, yes, it's a Ryobi. I know, don't get jelly, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to start by taking the screws off of here. Oh, you need a ladder too. I don't know if I said that. But yeah, you're going to need a ladder unless you've got super strong, long arms and you can reach the top of that. But I know I can't. So let's start here. Again, we're I don't do anything easy, so we're kind of pinched in over here, but so right down here is our screw. Man, we'll see if we can get in there on it. Ready? Okay, so I tried a number 2 square head and it wasn't working. So we're gonna try a Phillips on this and see if we can get in there, but these things can never go easy peasy. All right, let's try to pick it out a little bit more. All right, so we're gonna try to pick some of the gunk out of this because they really did a number on it. I just saw that too, so a little touch-up is going to be in order. That was hidden under there. Now, good thing is these aren't steel panels, but over time that will start to chip out on us. But you can see the screw, and a number 2 screw head should have worked, but our number 2 bit, but we can't get in there far enough to get hold of it. So I'm switching back to the number 2 because I want to. There we go. One down. So you can see you can almost start to pull this off, but we don't want to pull it too much because the goal really is to get it to slide down. So now I'm going to move our ladder over. So up here, this is really gummed up. Yeah. Jen's gonna hand me the pick. So what I'm gonna do here is try to get up a little bit further or a little closer. What I'm trying to do is just get some of this sealant off here so I can get to that screw. And of course it ain't easy. So the pick is actually as gummed up as this is. It's a little bit too small, so it's good at getting the stuff out of the head, but not necessarily out of the way. And then once I get most of it out of the way up here, I know you're probably not getting the best view, folks, apologize, but now I can kind of see how the screw is. So the bottom one went from a downward angle, the top one's going from an upward angle. All right, we're going to try to get in a little closer here. So they did a good job of boogering this one up. So the good thing is boy, was this thing sealed. The bad thing is boy, was this thing sealed. All right, let's try this again. All right, we got her, folks. So now we're gonna take our knife here so Jen can get in there. So right here, there's some sealant on this edge. And this is where that RTV is gonna come in. But we're gonna just cut the edge down just a little bit. We're just cutting into the side of that so we can slide this down the track. And you might have to do that on both sides. All right. So the other thing we're seeing here is there's a bead of sealant. So that sealant is actually holding on to our flap seal. And I did find another spot up here where it was tore up. So what I'm going to do is just I'm going to run my blade carefully down the edge, just like that. Now I can start by peeling this off. And like I said, we have like a whole gunky mess up here, but as you can see, now we're getting that off there. So again, I don't know if Jen can see that, but we're just following that edge very slightly. You can use a razor knife, or if your pocket knife is sharp enough, go ahead and do that. So we're just going to peel that off of there all the way down. And then now that I got it down that far, I'm going to switch up and hop on down. All right, now that I got my big butt down from the ladder, I'm just going to finish pulling this off all the rest of the way. So you can see right there where that sealer just held on to that. So, but you can get a better idea now of what was going on with that seal. For some reason it was just peeling apart. This isn't a side that gets a lot of sun either. So whether we're here in Florida or where we were in Texas, or so my thought is that we just had a defective seal. So, but that's what it is. So now we can come over here and we can lay this out. So all we're going to do now is just what we talked about. So we don't have the seal's not shrunk or anything. So we're going to match it end to end right here. So you just get it right there on that edge. If you want to go a 16th over, that's fine. It'll just be a little bit longer at the bottom. Now we just follow it along. Make sure you keep your grip on that. No slack. Keep coming till you get to the end. Now we're at the end here. Like I said, if you want to go just a little bit longer on your cut, maybe a 16th at each end, so a 1/4 inch, there's no problem with that. Go ahead and do that. And you'll just have a little bit longer at the bottom, which is just fine. But again, a sharp blade is your friend here, because the easier it is to cut that, the straighter your cut's going to be. That one came out pretty good. So now when we're up there with the drill, I'll use this as an example. So when we go to drill that screw back in, you're gonna pull this down while you're up there, like that, and that way you can screw in. So, because if you try to do it this way, you're gonna have a hard time keeping that screw going. You might lose a screw down in there. So the best thing to do is just pull that down while you're up there, hold it with your thumb, and then put your screw in maybe about a 1/2 inch down. And then you'll seal it with the black RTV. All right, so now we're going to come over. So now we have our track right here, as you can see. So they did seal that. So that seal is actually behind the tracks for the wiper. Really wasn't for this, because this is contained around the outside edges. So that sealant is for that. So we're not even going to mess with that sealant. It just got on there. So they did that sealant after they put the bulb seal on. But all we're going to do is we're going to get it started right here. And we're going to push it up, but keep it down low right here. So as we're going, it just follows that track all the way up. If you get up too far, then you're going to be out of that track. You don't have to pull it all the way out. Just pull it down enough to where it seats back in, and then go ahead and keep doing that. And then we're going to keep pushing it up there until we get to the top. So now we got our track slid up there. We're going to bring our ladder back in, and then we're going to go up there and we're going to put our set screw at the top. While I'm up there, I'm going to grab that RTV black silicone, which is why I'm wearing these fabulous gloves. And we'll put that in there and we'll redo our seam at the top. So we're just doing that to make sure we're not getting too much water in behind that and to keep this as dry as possible. And then after we get that one done, we'll come back down here. We'll put our set screw at the bottom. We'll put our sealant back on around here where the manufacturer had it. And then we'll be able to call this job done. Got our screw gun. So I'm pulling that down like we talked about. This is the fun part here, ladies and gentlemen. Getting enough pressure on it to get it to seat in. That's always a good time. All right, so we got our set screw back in its hole. Now we're gonna take some RTV here. And all this is a black adhesive sealant. We'll drop a link to it. I'm gonna squeeze some of that out of here. Be liberal with it. And we're just going to fill in around there. I'll show you a little bit better when we get to the bottom one. Trying not to make Jen fly around with me up here on the other thing too, give this stuff a good day to dry before you close your slide outs. Ours is going to be open for a bit, so it's not that big a deal, but we just want to make sure we're getting that done. I'm also going to pull this down a little bit, and I'm putting some onto the actual screw hole in there. It doesn't have to be pretty, but you don't want it to be ugly either. All right. Okay, we're going to pull our flap up here. There we go. Now we're in. Now we're going to fill right around this edge here, right around this bottom where we pulled the sealant off, and that's just to protect this flap area.
What are you going to do to that?
We're going to put RTV black silicone right in here and fill that area back in like it was in the beginning. All right, I've forsaken the gloves because it was easier to pull this back, but now we're going to just fill this back in here. Like I said, it ain't got to be pretty, but you don't want it ugly either. So you're just going to fill in these little seam corners here where this is where Integra did theirs, but we find that most manufacturers, now you could do I guess a black silicone, anything that'll stick to rubber. I just find this RTV works really well. It's black, so it matches the cover there. But now we have that all resealed, and that is just to protect our barrier there, so when water runs down this track, it's not trying to lip back up around there, because remember folks, water always finds a way. All right, so that is putting on a bulb seal. That's a track style. So sometimes these wiper seals come with bulbs attached to them already. This particular one is a slip track wiper seal with a bulb. So a 1-inch bulb on a 15-inch track, and that's about a 2.5-inch wiper. So pretty standard, but make sure you're getting your RTV and your seams at your top and your bottom. Same thing, you want wherever the factory had it, that's where you want to get it back into, or even do a little bit extra. But this side is done. Actually, that's all we had to do. The other seals are in good shape, but if you need to do this on yours, make sure you're getting out there. Put your hands on those seals and make sure that they're pliable, they're not having any tears in them. We caught this one early because now when our slide is closed, that's our water barrier. So when that closes against that, that's where it's keeping that water out. So if that thing's tearing up, there's a potential to get water inside of the rig when our slides are closed up. But that's to do it for today's episode. If you liked this video or thought it was helpful, make sure you hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done that. But until next time, this is Drew with Mission RV Services, and we'll see you on the next job.